Hello folks, this is Ariel at Nyth. Going to do a little tour of how my power system actually works since I realized I've never done a video on that. This is my house today. It is cold, not really snowing. There's a few little clouds, but there's a few little sparkly flakes drifting out of the air. As I look into the sun up there, you can maybe see where my solar panels are. There we go. They're that far away from the house because I live on the north side of this hill. As you can see, the sun is facing that way. If I put them anywhere else, down here in my clearing, like right beside the house where they used to be, over here, they get shaded most of the time. As you can see, there's only at this time of year a few spots of sunlight coming through to my clearing. So they got moved up there. There's just a cable that runs from there over to the house. Some people are going to probably ask about line drop with that distance of cable. There is, let me see, pretty sure I've got a 50-foot and two 20-foot chunks of cable on there. So that's 90 feet of solar cable. My friend, who has one of those very expensive meters, has tested it, and we did not seem to get really any noticeable line drop in that distance. So the gain I got by having my panels up there was certainly worth putting them further away from the house. Anyway, that's where my main power source comes in. I also have a few other solar powered things here, like on my little shed. That's a little solar panel on my motion detector light. I've got 4 of those around my clearing. Excuse my breathing, it is cold out here. It was -10 last night, -22 the night before. I think it's supposed to be colder again tonight. So it's chilly. Anyway, over here, this is my generator's tiny house. If you read my post on my generator a while ago, you've seen this. This is what I use when it's too cloudy or rainy, or I use more power than I can get from my solar panels, or the days are too short, all those things. I rarely use it in the summer. I have to turn this on once a week or so in the winter on a pretty regular basis to catch up my battery bank. Anyway, I can fill this with gas. It's a little Champion brand. See if I can put this down in here so you can see. Champion brand generator. It is not as expensive as a Honda by quite a few $100s. It's also not quite as quiet as a Honda, but not very loud. And this little box muffles a lot of its sound. There is a hole on this whole end of the box that's open so that the exhaust can vent easily. Then there's just a extension cord that runs from there under the snow so you can't see it and into this wall of the house. You can also see the cable coming in there. That second cable is from the solar panels. So both the solar and the generator power goes through the wall right there. The opening's kind of covered up by the snowbank. Now I'm going to go inside. It's my wood bins by the front door. There's the rest of the clearing. You can see how deep my snowbanks are getting already. They do a pretty good job of insulating my skirting. Come inside here where it is nice and cozy. Little fires roaring. That saves me on electricity. And we're going to show you where those cables come through the wall. This is my couch. I opened it up already. It's not normally at that angle, so I'd have a free hand. So here's under the couch. Right there you can see cables coming through the wall. The generator comes into this charge controller, which is not lit up because the generator's not running. That safely puts the power from the generator into my battery bank. I have 5 of these batteries. They are all wired together so that they become one large battery. That gives me a big enough amount of storage that I can easily stay in the top 80% of it, which extends my battery life significantly. I can cover more of that in my writing, but anyway, that's the battery bank. This straight down here is an inverter. That's what takes the power out of the batteries and puts it into all the regular AC outlets in the house, like the one behind the shoes right there. in a form which I can use. Also in here, this little plate, if you can see where I'm pointing there, that goes, has a lot of the stuff running through it, which lets this little monitor right here record and show me what's going on with my battery bank. They're currently 97.4% full. The sun's been out today, and so they're getting close to 100%. This is the charge controller where the power coming in from the solar panels goes through. Much like the charge controller from the generator, this allows the electricity being created by the solar panels to safely be fed into the batteries without overheating them or melting them down or any of that. The little green lights just tell me that there is sun shining on it and the batteries are fine. It's not a very detailed controller, but that is another part of the system. So I've got my two power sources, the generator, the solar panels, the charge controller for each one, the solar panels and the generator. I've got my battery bank, which lets me store all of the power. I've got my monitor wired in here that just lets me easily know what's going on with it. And I've got my inverter, which feeds the electricity into the rest of the house where I can actually use it. Now I'm going to come over here. This is at the opposite end of the house, which is not necessarily how you would build it, except that this is the way the house was already laid out when I added the batteries under the couch. This is my main breaker box, and there is both AC and DC power here. So there's some fuses and all of that. This just controls, you can see the labels, the power for pretty much everything in the house on the individual switches. So that's where the power goes when it leaves the inverter and the battery bank. Comes into here and then to the rest of the house. Now, I don't use a lot of electricity in my house. There's only a couple things. There's a water pump that runs this faucet. It's an RV pump. It's a little bit noisy. I'm sure you can hear it there when I turn the water on. That uses electricity. There is a built-in heater that is under these stairs over here. Let's show you. You can see a floor vent right there and one right here. And there's also one back in the bathroom there. That uses electricity just to run a fan and to ignite. It burns propane, so it doesn't use a lot of electricity, but that uses some. I have lights. They're LEDs, so they don't use a lot, and there's not very many of them. I do have a screen there. Every now and then, watch a movie. I'm trying to think of everything that uses power. Right up in there is my little wireless router that gives me internet access. I've got a laptop. I've got an old-fashioned boombox I use to listen to CDs or music sometimes. I occasionally charge camera batteries. And, oh yeah, the big power user. I have a fridge. It's an electric fridge that uses more power than anything else in the house. But I cook a lot, and there's a little freezer, as you can see, clear full. So that's the only things I am running with my power. And let me go close the couch over here. That is supplied by, if you could see it when we were outside, 400-watt solar panels. Not a very big system. I put this system together myself with the help of a friend, and it total cost me about $3,500 for all of the parts. That included the batteries, the panels, the inverters, the charge controllers, the cables, the generator, all of that stuff. I had got a quote from a solar company on installing a similar system, and they quoted me about $17,000. So this was a significant savings to do it myself. I still don't understand completely how all of it actually works, but I also don't totally understand how my car engine works. In fact, a long way from it. I have no idea actually how my car engine works, but I do know how to turn a key, and I know how to drive places in it, and it's super useful. I feel kind of the same way about my solar system. I don't understand how it all works, but it's extremely useful, and there's plenty of guides out there that can clearly tell you plug this end of this into that end of that, and you can set it up yourself and, you know, have everything operating. I've been living here for more than 2 years. I have lights, I have power, I have a fridge, and everything works, even though I don't understand all the details. But that is the setup, that is the equipment. I'll do a post to go with this, and I will include, I think, a list of the exact parts and brand names I bought for all of that stuff, if that interests you and is helpful. But anyway, that's a look around at the actual stuff. And here's just a quick look outside again. It's really cold. Really, really cold, and about to get colder. There's one of my little icicles hanging off the house. So, you folks all have a lovely day, and I will talk to you next time. Like my channel, subscribe, and ask me any questions if you've got them. Have a great day, folks.